Okay, welcome. We're doing the first of the worked examples for FM5, which is annuities and loan repayments. So annuity is probably a word you haven't heard. It's a form of investment involving, and this is important, regular periodic contributions to an account. Okay, so it's not like one of those investments that you put the money in and leave it and it just grows. This is one that you put it in fairly regularly. And then it builds and builds and builds. A good example is superannuation. Okay, that's one that you'll, as soon as you're working, anyone that's working full-time or I think part-time, you actually get, your employer puts in money into a superannuation account. So basically what happens is you've got money in there, then you put some more in, you get some interest, then you put some more in, then you get more interest, then you put some more in, you get more interest, and it builds very, very quickly. So with super, for the example, people invest in a fund on a regular basis. So mine goes in every fortnight when I get paid. And the interest on the investment compounds while each subsequent period a further contribution is added. So every fortnight more money goes on there and interest gets added onto that as well. Excuse me. In chapter 1, we didn't call it chapter 1, we called it pretty sure it was FM3. We used compound interest. Oh no, it would have been FM4. We used the compound interest formula and introduced present value and future value. So what we've got is the compound interest formula is future value equals present value times 1 plus r to the power of n. Now, remember that the whole 1 plus r thing is your interest rate plus 1 because it's increasing. When we did depreciation, it was 1 minus r. Okay. So FV is the future value, PV is the present value, R is the interest rate per compounding period. Remember, if it's compounded monthly, you have to divide your per annum interest rate by 12. And then N is the number of compounding periods. All right, let's get on to the worked example. So calculate the value of a $5,000 investment made at $8,000, 8% per annum for 4 years. So this is just doing a very, very simple one. Okay. Now you'll notice that they've all of a sudden changed the names. All of a sudden they've gone for A and P. All right. FV is the equivalent of A in this one. PV is the equivalent of P. They stand for amount and principal. So you remember that principal is the amount that we started off with. Okay. So on this one, it's a $5,000 investment. So the first thing I'm going to do is write down the formula. I'm going to write it in the old school way. And that's how we've used to write the compound interest formula. I could have written future value because that's what it's going to be at the end, and present value because that's what you put in. Okay, that's what we use when we're talking about annuities. Then we're going to write down what we know. Well, we know that the principal is $5,000. We know that the rate is 8%, not 8. And that's it as a decimal, and we know it's for 4 years. Now it doesn't say anything other than 4 years, so we assume it compounds annually. So then we just chuck it in. So we've got A equals 5,000. 1 plus 0.08 to the power of 4. You can just chuck that straight into your calculator. So when we put this into the calculator, you are doing 5,000 times 1 plus 0.08, close brackets, to the power of. Notice how that does the power of to everything in the brackets. Okay, that, and you do that. And so the value at the end is 6,802.44. So there you go. That's the value of our amount. Easy.